Chapter 36. Gourmet. There are many occupations in this world, and gourmet is one of them. Gourmets are often born sensitive to taste, and their ability to discern flavors far exceeds ordinary humans. Their cultivation may not necessarily be high, but there are some hotels or taverns that would hire them at high salaries so as to ascertain the taste and effects of their ingredients. However, this occupation is one of the least esteemed ones and can only be considered one of the lower 9 paths. There are more than several thousands of occupations in the world. To better classify them, they are split into the upper 9 paths, middle 9 paths and lower 9 paths: apothecary, blacksmith, formation master, and similar jobs which brings about benefits to battle techniques and one's cultivation are considered as the conventional upper 9 paths. On the other hand, gourmet could only be considered as an unorthodox occupation, thus being classified under the lower 9 paths, going by Xianxia's opinion. Given how the young man is capable of pointing out the flaws in those dishes and wine, he had to be a gourmet. You can take it so. Xianxia doesn't explain. The library of Heaven's Path does more than reflecting one's cultivation. As long as he has tried a dish, its flaws would be reflected in the library. With this, it is a simple task for him to take care of a small manager. Wu. Thank you for your help today. Seeing the other party admit to it, Xianxia thanks him. If it wasn't for this young man's ability to discern delicacies, it would be truly embarrassing for her today. It's nothing. Xianxia waves his hand. You resolved the problem just a moment ago, so it can't be considered as my treat. I'll treat you again next time. Xianxia says. Treat me again? Xianxia ponders over it and shakes his head. Better not, I still treasure my life. Eating with a beauty may be an enjoyable event, but he knows himself the best. Given his reputation, the other party might simply be speaking out of politeness despite being repulsed by the idea. Not only so, he would have to suffer from the envy of others. If so, he would have to come up with ideas to deal with her pursuers. However, there are still many things that he needs to do at the moment, and he doesn't have the leisure for such matters. Just when she thought that Xianxia could speak normally, she hears those words and feels a blockade in her chest again as the urge to go berserk surges through her. Many people had asked her out to eat, but she rejected them all. Yet, when she takes the initiative to invite him, she feels as though she is begging a stubborn elderly. Detestable. All right, since we have already eaten, if there's nothing else, I'll be making a move first. I still have many things to attend to. Oblivious to her rage, he waves and prepares to take his leave. Wait, I'm not done yet. Suppressing her anger, Xianxia calms down her breathing and looks at him with her beautiful eyes. You might have resolved that difficulty in my stead today, and your occupation as a gourmet played a huge role in it. But, in the end, it is still an unorthodox occupation. After all, a fighter should focus on his training. Fighters, upon cultivating to a certain realm, are able to survive without ingesting food, so delicacies do not have much use. Even if he is able to profit out of the occupation for now, it still isn't a proper path a fighter should be treading on. After interacting with him, she could tell that Xianxia isn't as useless as the rumors make him out to be. It could be possible that he had devoted his efforts to studying food, that's why his teacher qualification examination results ended up horrendous. Upon such thoughts, despite her overwhelming anger, she couldn't resist advising him. All right. Knowing that she said those words out of goodwill, Xianxia nods his head. Just as he is about to leave, rapid footsteps sound out from his back. Xianxia, let's see where you can escape to today. Today, don't even dream about getting away. Following which, a resentful voice echoes in the surroundings. 2 men and 1 beast block his path. They are Xiongbin and Cao Xiong. At this moment, the 2 of them have a giant footprint imprinted on their face, the outlines of it clear to see. Half of their face are swollen red and blood trickles down by edges of their mouth. Not a single hint of their previous dashing and carefree look remain. This is especially so for Xiongbin. His injuries from the morning have yet to recover, and yet, he suffered another violent kick. At this instant, his mouth is crooked to the side and his lips look like 2 giant sausages, thus pulling him further away from the concept of handsomeness. He had planned everything out perfectly so as to look cool in front of his goddess. Who knew that not only would he fail, he even got beaten up to such a state, and his connection with Hongqian Pavilion was severed as a result. If things go wrong, He might even be chastised by his grandfather. How could he take this humiliation lying? The more he thinks about it, the angrier he gets. Thus, he charges up directly towards Xianxia. Xiongbin, what do you intend to do? Shunbai Ayu didn't expect him to come in pursuit to cause trouble. She steps in front of Xianxia to shield him from Xiongbin. Xianxia, don't block my way. This is a personal grudge between Xianxia and me. It is one thing if he doesn't see her, but when he sees her shielding the infamous trash of the academy, Xiongbin is further provoked as his eyes slant to the sides and his mouth crooks further from the overwhelming rage. The intense envy clouding his mind makes him frenzied. He stares coldly at that young man and shouts, "Xianxia, are you a man? If you're one, stop hiding behind a woman and have a fair duel to the death with me." Seeing how the fellow before him has lost his rationality, Xianxia widens his eyes and says, "So what if I'm hiding behind a woman? This is a part of my capabilities. If you're capable, find one to hide behind as well." You. Xiongbin almost vomits blood. As long as it is a man, if someone insults him by saying that he is gutless and hides behind the protection of a woman, won't they feel embarrassed and humiliated such that they would rush forward to retaliate out of indignation? Why does common sense not apply to this fellow? How can he speak of something that should have been incomparably shameful so naturally and righteously? How can one be so thick-skinned? Xianxia, I'll be leaving these two for you to deal with. I still have something on, so I'll be taking my leave first. As a transcender, what has he never seen before? Thick-skinned? What a joke. In his previous life, in the information era, have you seen anyone who isn't shameless? He can't be bothered to deal with a problem which someone had taken the initiative to resolve for him. This isn't fear. Rather, it isn't a good time for him to be revealing his level of cultivation. On top of that, the Xiongbin's grandfather is an elder. If he were to be forced to a corner, Xianxia would have to waste precious time dealing with the problems that will ensue. Since someone is shielding him, he is also happy to be spared the effort. Seeing how shameless the young man is, Shunbai Ayu is also at a loss for words. Just a moment ago, she was still fearful that he would be provoked by Xiongbin's taunt and duel with him. Now, it does seem that she was overthinking it. If this fellow could be provoked, even sows would be able to climb trees. Xianxia, hold it there. If I can't kill you today, I won't be called Xiongbin. Seeing the attitude of the young man, Xiongbin becomes even more enraged. Veins pop out from his temples and his face turns a shade of green. Seeing that Shunbai Ayu has no intention of letting him through, he roars, "Sky-shattering lion, kill him. As long as you do it, I will bring you delicacies every day. Furthermore, I will give you the acupoint soothing pill that my grandfather promised me." As a Tier 6 savage beast that has been tamed by a human, the sky-shattering lion is capable of comprehending human words. As his grandfather's pet, as long as Xiongbin is kept out of harm's way, it couldn't be bothered with his orders. In order to get it to make a move, he promised all kinds of benefits to him in an instant. Roar! Indeed, hearing his promises, the eyes of the sky-shattering lion light up. Savage beasts who have reached Pishua realm, unlike humans, are unable to use the flow of Xianxia to break open their acupoints. They can only rely on the growth of their body to gradually pull up their strength. If it were to consume the acupoint soothing pill at this moment, with its effects, its strength would surely soar significantly. Acupoint soothing pill is a pill made specially for Fighter 6 Dan experts. It possesses the effect of soothing one's acupoints, thus allowing one to progress further in Pishua realm. At this moment, Xiongbin's strength has already reached Fighter 5 Dan Dingli pinnacle, just a step off from Pishua. Thus, Elder Xianxia spent a huge sum to obtain this medicine so as to give him a boost. Initially, Xiongbin was reluctant to take it out. However, upon recalling how he was humiliated by a trash, he finds himself unable to suppress his emotions. If he doesn't get rid of Xianxia today, he fears that he would be unable to uphold his dignity in the academy anymore. This is especially so for the goddess before him. She probably wouldn't even spare him a gaze. How can he tolerate such a situation? Xiongbin, what do you intend to do? Killing a colleague in academy compounds is a huge crime. She didn't expect Xiongbin to be so insane to order the sky-shattering lion to make a move. Shunbai Ayu's eyes narrow. She wants to rush forward to protect Xianxia, but is blocked by Xiangbin instead. Panicking, she bellows at him. In the compounds, teachers are forbidden from killing one another. To do so is an infringement of the school rules, as well as a severe crime. Xianxia was the one who wanted to kill me. To protect me, the sky-shattering lion retaliated. What I did was legitimate self-defense. What can the others say about it? Xiangbin's eyes turn red from insanity. He roars, "Sky-shattering lion, what are you hesitating for? Do it. You." Shunbai Ayu feels her heart turning cold. Too shameless. If he were to really use that as a front, with Elder Xiangqian's interference within the matter, he might really get away with it. In fact, it is possible for him to escape punishment completely. Xianxia could very well die here. After all, it is a Tier 6 savage beast. Ordinary Pishua realm experts aren't even its match. How can one who is the last in the teacher qualification examination withstand it? Roar! Just when she is still in a fluster, the sky-shattering lion roars and dashes over. Before coming into contact with it, its powerful aura creates a powerful gale that forces the surrounding grass and tree leaves to bow down to it. 9 paths, also known as 3 teachings and 9 paths, this is a real terminology used to classify jobs in ancient China. To put it simply, there are upper 9 paths, middle 9 paths and lower 9 paths in ancient China, and each of these paths refer to an occupation. For example, the top occupations in ancient China are emperor, saints, secluded masters, oracle, scholar, warrior, farmer, worker, merchant. Similarly, the middle 9 paths and lower 9 paths have their own set of occupations as well. The 3 teachings refer to Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Do note that there are different versions to the 9 paths, and most of them list Buddha as the first one. Chapter 37. Big Sister Spare Me. Xianxia. Shunbai Ayu tried to break through Xiangbin's blockade to save him, but she was knocked back consecutive times. Xiangbin's cultivation is on the same level as her. He might be spoiled due to his powerful backing, but his strength isn't false. Even if she possesses the strength to defeat him, she is still unable to break through his blockade within a short period of time, especially if he chooses to execute only defensive maneuvers. I am the one who brought harm to you. Seeing how she is unable to save him, Shunbai Ayu is filled with guilt. She thinks that the reason why Xiangbin is dealing with this fellow, who was the last for the teacher qualification examination, is because of her. Otherwise, as someone of such high standing and the grandson of an elder, towards an infamous trash who has no background whatsoever, when there's no connection between the two, why would there be a grudge between them? Yet, after pulling him down into the mud, she is unable to save him. The guilt she is experiencing at the moment torments her painfully. Why is there no movements? Could it be that Xianxia has already died? The more panic she gets, the more incapable she is of breaking through Xiangbin's blockade. With Xiangbin blocking her sight, she is unable to view the situation over at Xianxia's side. She can only hear complete silence in the surroundings, as though he didn't even struggle against the assault of the sky-shattering lion. There can only be one possibility. Before Xianxia could retaliate, he was already smacked to death by the sky-shattering lion. After all, even she is unable to withstand a single blow from the Tier 6 savage beast, who is equivalent to a Pishua realm expert. Ha ha, he is already dead. It is too late for you to make a move now. Hearing that there is no movements behind him, Xiangbin's eyes light up. He knows that the trash would definitely be unable to withstand a single blow from the sky-shattering lion. He laughs heartily out of excitement. Judging that there is no need to block Shunbai Ayu any longer, he leaps aside. Xianxia. The moment Xiangbin leaps away, Shunbai Ayu doesn't waste time on him and hurriedly rushes forward. Just when she thought she would see a pool of fresh blood with a miserable corpse lying in the center of it, her slim figure suddenly freezes and she stares in a daze. What happened? Initially, Xiangbin thought that his goddess would burst into tears from the shock of the sight. However, upon seeing such an expression hang on her face, Xiangbin quickly turns around to take a look. With a single glimpse, his eyeballs widen into huge circles and he almost faints from overwhelming astonishment. He sees the incomparably ferocious sky-shattering lion, which had rushed towards Xianxia earlier to rip him into numerous shreds before, lying in front of Xianxia like a pug, licking his hands. Xianxia's other hand is stroking the head and ears of the sky-shattering lion, and unspeakable pleasure appears on its face. The heck? What happened? Xiangbin is on the verge of tears. This sky-shattering lion is his grandfather's beast pet, and it is extremely proud. Even for Xiangbin himself, just a simple touch would incur its fury, not to mention stroking its head. After taking possession of it from his grandfather, he had spent half a day of effort on it, feeding it numerous delicacies. Yet, this fellow doesn't even show the slightest bit of gratitude, disregarding his presence as he pleases. Such a proud fellow became a pug before Xianxia? You are here to kill him. To be lying before him and licking his palm, is this really all right? Xiangbin feels a dizziness spell working up, and he is on the verge of going crazy. Sky-shattering lion, what are you doing? Quickly kill him. He bellows. The sky-shattering lion doesn't move. It continues to lazy around, allowing Xianxia stroke his head freely. You! Quickly kill him. If you do it, I will buy you anything you want to eat from now on. Xiangbin roars anxiously. So noisy, make him shut up. Xianxia, who was stroking the sky-shattering lion, stands up and waves his hand. Roar! The sky-shattering lion stands up as well and glares at Xiangbin savagely. What are you planning to do? Frightened, Xiangbin immediately retreats several steps. However, before he could get far, the sky-shattering lion dashes forward and takes a sweep at him lightly with its paws. Pang! Before Xiangbin could react, he is sent flying backward like a kite that had its string snapped. His head knocks onto a giant tree and crimson blood fills his entire face. What exactly happened? You are my grandfather's beast pet. Xiangbin cries. This sky-shattering lion is the beast pet that his grandfather passed on to him to protect him. Logically, it should have listened to his words to deal with the outsider. Why did it listen to the words of an outsider to attack him? Pang! Before he could finish crying, another figure crashes onto the ground in front of him. He is Cao Xiong. When that fellow noticed the situation turning awry, he immediately turned around to flee. However, how could he possibly escape from the sky-shattering lion, a tier 6 savage beast? He is sent flying back with a slap. Roar! After sending these two flying, the sky-shattering lion looks as though it has done something glorious. It walks over to Xianxia with a flattering look, as though wanting to be acknowledged for its accomplishment. Yuan, not bad. You did well. Xianxia pats its head. Roar! The sky-shattering lion nods its head quickly. It walks gallantly to the two lying on the floor, keeping a watch on them with a proud look, reminiscent of a responsible watchdog. Xiangbin and Cao Xiong, who are planning to escape, are on the verge of tears. Xianxia. You! How did you do that? Spectating the entire flow of events by the side, the dumbstruck Xunbai Ayu finally recovers and gazes at him curiously. How did I do it? Xianxia scratches his head. This sky-shattering lion is very easy to communicate with. Perhaps, it might be because I am more handsome. Handsome. Xunbai Ayu blinks and her slim figure staggers. The sky-shattering lion is a savage beast. To it, the term handsome should only be applicable to male sky-shattering lions, so what do you being handsome or not have to do with it? Besides, if one must talk about handsomeness, Xiangbin is much more dashing than you. All right. Farewell. Xianxia doesn't continue explaining and turns around to leave. Since the Library of Heaven's Path can peer into the weaknesses of a human, naturally, it would be able to peer into those of the sky-shattering lion as well. This fellow may seem extremely powerful, but in actuality, it has sustained quite a few hidden traumas. Otherwise, it couldn't have possibly willingly served as Elder Xianxia's beast pet. The library has detected this flaw of it. Making use of it, Xianxia casually solved some of the easier ones for it. As a result, the sky-shattering lion chooses to obey his commands obediently without the slightest hesitation. In comparison to Xiangbin's promise, no amount of delicious food and pills can compare with a resolved hidden trauma. Of course, this involves his secret as well, so he can't possibly reveal the truth to Xunbai Ayu. You! Don't go. You haven't explained the reason why the sky-shattering lion obeyed to your commands. Seeing him leave, PandaAudioBooks quickly catches up. The more she comes into contact with this young man, the more formidable she finds him to be. He is a mystery that is becoming more and more difficult to comprehend. Being able to read so many books just by flipping through them, intentionally scoring a 0 in the teacher qualification examinations despite knowing the answers, realizing his identity as a gourmet through a meal and convincing a Tier 6 savage beast to follow his commands easily. What that seems impossible in the eyes of others is accomplished so simply by this young man, leaving others staring in disbelief. How does he accomplish all these? PandaAudioBooks is becoming more and more curious about this young man before her. Big sister. Oblivious to what she is thinking of, upon seeing her chasing him, Xianxia halts his footsteps and says helplessly, "I want to live a long life. I'm afraid that I might not live to the next day being beside you. Just spare me." Big sister. You are the big sister. Your entire family is big sisters. PandaAudioBooks' face turns bright red. She is a beauty. She might be slightly older than Xianxia, but she looks no different from a 17 or 18-year-old. Yet, this fellow addressed her as a big sister, thus causing her to go into a frenzy. "Fine, I'm the big sister. So, just let me leave." Xianxia shakes his head in frustration. PFD. Upon hearing Xianxia claim that he is the big sister, PandaAudioBooks chuckles and says, "Fine, you can leave. I will look for you tomorrow." Xianxia. Chapter 38. Reprise bell. It is a scene of chaos in Hongqian Pavilion. What happened? I have barely been away for a while and such a sight awaits my return. In a room, an elderly stares coldly at the kneeling manager Wu. He is the mastermind behind Hongqian Pavilion, Elder Hong Hao. Elder, it is like that. The grandson of Elder Xianxia, Xiong Bin, has been here. Manager Wu doesn't dare to conceal anything and discloses everything that had happened. This includes the affair which he swapped the drunk immortal with green crag brew. "Wu Cho, how dare you?" After hearing Wu Cho's words, Elder Hong Hao's face darkens and he angrily sends a kick towards him. Pang! Manager Wu is immediately sent flying backward. His face pales as he vomits mouthful after mouthful of blood. "Elder, spare me. I do not dare hope to be forgiven for my crimes, but that fellow is even viler. To expose all of these in public and causing the reputation of our Hongqian Pavilion to be ruined, he obviously disregards Elder Yu completely. HMPH. After doing such shameful things, you still expect others not to talk about them." Elder Hong Hao's face looks hostile, as though a violent storm is gathering on it. Manager Wu trembles uncontrollably. Changing the contents of the dishes to earn more profits is a decision he made at his own discretion. He thought that he had concealed it perfectly. Yet, he was exposed by that young man in public. Naturally, he feels great resentment against him. "I'll give you 5 days to settle this problem thoroughly. I want the negative impacts to be reduced to the bare minimum. If so, I can consider not to pursue the matter of your corruption. Otherwise, don't even dream about getting away alive." Elder Hong Hao's eyes are cold like a blizzard at night. Standing up, he asks, "Also, what is the name of that fellow? Is he a teacher of the academy? If he had informed me discreetly, I might have rewarded him with a sum of fortune, but he chose to cause trouble in public instead, soiling the reputation of my Hongqian Pavilion. I will have a good look at him tomorrow to see who is the one who gave him such guts." Bellowing furiously, a savage aura fills the surroundings. It feels like a frontal assault by a wave of frost, causing one to shiver uncontrollably despite the warm weather. Fighter 7 Dan Tongxian Realm. This Elder Hong Hao is a Tongxian Realm expert. It is no wonder that he was able to vie for the position of the principal. Just his level of cultivation itself is already astonishing. It is Xianxia Laosha. Manager Wu quickly says. Xianxia? The one who was the last in the teacher qualification examination. Elder Hong Hao is taken aback. Hongqian Academy had never had a single teacher scoring at the very bottom of the teacher qualification examination throughout its centuries of history since its inception. Thus, Even a person like Elder Hong Hao had heard of Zhong Xian's name. That's him. Manager Wu nods his head. A trash would actually dare to trample on the dignity of Hongqian Pavilion? Excellent. Clenching his fist, a cold glint flashes across his eyes. A heavy murdering intent emanates from Elder Hong Hao. If the other party is a star teacher or an influential figure in the academy, he might have some hesitation over punishing him. However, since he is a trash, then, don't blame him for being heartless. Sigh, how troublesome. Returning back to his dwelling, Zhong Xian massages the center of his eyebrows. He would have never thought it possible for so much trouble to evolve from just a simple meal. Forget it. There's no use pondering over it. I better spend my time thinking about how I can break into Pishua realm. Quickly, he dumps all excessive thoughts to the back of his head. Despite being a transcender, he knows that in this world, power reigns might. Only with sufficient power will the problems of one cease to be. He is currently at Dingli Realm Pinnacle, and to break through, he would need the cultivation techniques of Fighter 6 Dan. However, an ordinary teacher doesn't have the qualification to browse through the 6 Dan cultivation techniques of the Academy. They can only jot down a copy of it with the approval of an elder. In the previous examination, he only had the strength of a Fighter 3 Dan. If he were to rush to an elder to ask for a 6 Dan cultivation technique now, he might end up being researched like a guinea pig. Many troubles will grow out of it. Furthermore, even with the approval of the other party, with just one copy, he is still unable to cultivate. Based on the first 5 Dan of Hongqian 9 Dan formula, this cultivation technique possesses too many flaws. Without the cross-references from numerous other cultivation techniques to seek the correct cultivation method, there wouldn't be any results in his training even if he were to train non-stop for several years. To him, the most pressing matter at hand is to seek a huge pile of Fighter 6 Dan cultivation techniques and draw comparisons among them to deduce the correct cultivation method. I've heard that quite a bit of trading is done in Xianxia Royal City, and cultivation techniques are one of the goods that are being traded. It would solve quite a bit of problem if I am able to purchase a few 6 Dan cultivation techniques. Suddenly, upon recalling something, Zhong Xian's eyes light up. Hongqian Academy is located in the capital of Xianxia Kingdom, Xianxia Royal City. Xianxia Royal City is an extraordinarily prosperous city. With numerous large commercial cities in here, all kinds of trade are carried out here. 6 Dan cultivation techniques may be rare, but it is still sold in numerous shops here. Furthermore, to Zhong Xian, there isn't really a need for him to buy them. As long as he manages to flip through them, it would be as good as gaining possession of the secret manual. With the Library of Heaven's Path, the quality and price of the secret manual no longer matter. As long as there is sufficient quantity, he would be able to derive the correct path out of the innumerable errors, and the Heaven's Path divine art would be automatically compiled, thus allowing him to cultivate swiftly. It is still early. Let's see if I am able to get a few books today. At this point, Zhong Xian stops hesitating and stands up immediately. The sun has just set and the nightlife has just begun. Since he is free anyway, it is a good opportunity to stroll through the commercial cities. Perhaps, he might find some useful items. Qianyu Commercial City is the largest trading market in Qianxian City. It is said that as long as one possesses sufficient money, he is able to buy everything he desires here. Stepping into the market, Zhong Xian feels his vision blurring from the sight of the innumerable goods laid out before him. His previous self was just an ordinary teacher. His wages were low and he was treated poorly. As a result, he had never been to such a grand place before. Thus, Zhong Xian finds himself incapable of identifying most of the goods on sale here. There are many small vendors in the commercial city. A vendor sits in front of each of these booths and all kinds of goods are laid out before them. Weapons, pills, herbs, armor, beast skin, beast pills. Almost everything that is required for cultivation can be found here. Just that, there are too many of them. It is difficult to ascertain which of them are of superior quality and which of them are of inferior quality. I might be unable to discern between the good and bad, but the Library of Heaven's Path might be capable of it. Such a thought flashes through his mind. Thus, Zhong Xian immediately walks over to a booth. "This gentleman here, what are you looking for?" I have everything you need here and I guarantee your satisfaction with my goods. The vendor quickly welcomes his presence. I'll just take a casual look. Xianxia smiles. He casually picks up an object in the booth. It is a circular bell of average size. This bell is specially forged by a blacksmith and has extraordinary abilities. It is on sale for just 50 gold coins. I can assure you that the price is fair. I offer the very same price to everyone passing by. If you're interested in it, I can give you a special discount. It'll be yours for just 20 gold coins. The vendor coaxes. Xianxia doesn't respond to his words. Rather, he twirls the bell around his hand. Wang! The library in his mind jolts and a book appears in it. Reprise bell. It is able to generate the same tune over and over again, causing one to feel dizzy-headed. It is effective against Fighter 1 Dan. It is created by a One-Mo craftsman of Blue Cloud Workshop. It is made of Wujin metal. Flaws. Number 1. The duration required for the reprise sound to take effect is long, requiring at least an incense's time, making it an ineffective weapon in battle. Number 2. It doesn't differentiate in its attacks. The wielder will take damage from it as well. 15-minute indeed. It is possible. Xianxia smiles. It doesn't matter even if he is unfamiliar with all these items. As long as he touches them with his hands and picks them up, the library would compile a corresponding book on it. Furthermore, this book details the history, composition, and all kinds of flaws of the item in question comprehensively. With just a single look, it is apparent to see if the item is valuable or not. Those who are unaware of the truth might just buy it with the vendor's previous offer of 20 gold coins. Only by looking at the contents recorded in the book does Xianxia realize that this toy isn't even worth 2 gold coins. What's specially forged by a blacksmith? Blue Cloud Workshop is an organization that specializes in the production of fake goods. Furthermore, One-Mo craftsmen are the ones with the worst craftsmanship of them all. Those who specializes in the creation of goods and handicraft are termed as craftsmen. They are classified into 9-Mo, with 1-Mo being the worst and 9-Mo being the best. How valuable can a creation of a 1-Mo craftsman be? With the library here, I won't have to worry about purchasing fake goods. Xianxia chuckles. This world is similar to his previous one. With authentic goods come imitations, and given his previous ability of discernment, needless to say, the authentic ones, he might not even be able to tell the strengths and weaknesses of an imitation. However, with the assistance of the library, he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Just that, he needs to come into contact with the item for a book to be compiled on it. The number of items in this market total up to at least 10 million. If he had to touch every single one of them, wouldn't he tire himself to death? Besides, if he were to just look at the goods, he wouldn't attract much attention. However, if he touches everything he catches his sight on, it probably won't take long for the security enforcement team of the commercial city to think of him as a lunatic and drive him out of the city. Chapter 39. Frigid Sun Mothergrass. Right, do you sell frigid sun grass here? Shaking his head to dispel the additional thoughts in his mind, Xianxia asks. On top of miscellaneous items, this vendor also sells some herbs. After finishing those books in the Compendium Pavilion, he has already found a solution to Zhao Ya's problem. With a pure yin body, she should cultivate a gentle and neutral cultivation technique. This way, the problem of the accumulation of yin energy should be solved. However, she has already cultivated a pure yin cultivation technique for a long time, and the meridians in her body have already adapted to it. If an abrupt change were to be introduced, her body might sustain a severe trauma and her cultivation will fall steeply. To prevent this from occurring, some preparations have to be made in advance. One of them is to nourish her meridians through medicinal herbs. Frigid sun grass grows in cold regions despite favoring sunny conditions. As a result, the warm and cold spiritual energy contained within it clashes, causing the amalgamation of yin and yang, thus making it the ideal choice to nourish her meridians. Since he is in the commercial city now, it is a good time for him to ask around about it. Frigid sun grass? It is a coincidence that you ask this. Not to brag, but I can guarantee you that I am the only vendor in Qianyu Commercial City that has this good. I procured them a few days ago from a dangerous region in Xianxia Forest. I have a total of 10 stalks and each stalk costs 100 gold coins. How many do you need? The vendor smiles and turns around to take out a box. Opening it, a few fresh-looking plants are revealed within. White flowers with red stems and leaves. Let me take a look first. Xianxia only knows about the frigid sun grass through books, so he isn't very familiar with it. He reaches out to grab a stalk and places it on his palm. Wang! The library jolts and a book appears. Frigid sun grass, harvested from an unknown valley 200 kilometers into Xianxia forest. Aged 2. Flaws. The name of the herb is written on the cover of the book and the location of its procurement and its flaws are recorded in it. It is frigid sun grass. This fellow isn't lying. Confirming that there is no mistake with the name on the book, Xianxia knows that the vendor owner isn't lying to him. This is the authentic medicinal herb, so he nods his head. Just when he is about to speak, his eyes happen to glance on the interiors of the box. Why does this stalk of frigid sun grass look slightly withered? Could it be that your procurement method is incorrect, causing its death? There is a specific method to harvesting medicinal herbs. If the method is wrong, the medicinal properties of the herb might be lost, causing its price to dip steeply. The stalk of frigid sun grass he is talking about is withered, thin and slightly yellow, seemingly immature. Furthermore, it doesn't look fresh at all. With a shriveled large head, it seems as though it would die at any moment. This gentleman here must be joking. I depend on this for a living, so how could I possibly get it wrong? This stalk of herb isn't of good condition from the very start. It was already like that when I procured it initially. If you want it, I will sell it to you at half price, 50 gold coins. The vendor says. UN. Xianxia picks up the yellowish and withered stalk of frigid sun grass. Wang. Frigid sun mothergrass, the origin of other frigid sun grasses. Harvested from an unknown valley 200 kilometers into Xianxia forest. Aged 15. Flipping open the book, the name of the herb and details on it is recorded. Frigid sun mother grass. Xianxia's eyes light up. He has read it on the books previously. This extremely valuable and rare herb is the core of all other frigid sun grass. If this herb were to be used in the creation of a medicine, its effectiveness would at least be 10 times of the latter. He didn't expect to stumble upon this treasure when he was just casually looking for herbs. Furthermore, this herb is 15-year-old. Just by this itself determines the extraordinary worth of it. If Xiaoya were to use the frigid sun grass to nourish her meridians, she would still require the augmentation from several other means to successfully change her cultivation technique. However, with this stalk of frigid sun grass, the problem can be easily solved. She wouldn't even need the augmentation from other means. This is the most suitable medicinal herb for her, no questions about it. Wrap this stalk up for me. Although he is agitated, his face still remains expressionless as he casually passes it back to the vendor. If the other party realizes that this is a mother stalk and not a sickly one, its price would instantly shoot up by 10 times, and even so, he might still be unable to purchase it from him. As a four-halves youngster who grew up in the modern civilized world, he wouldn't do himself any injustice when he is able to profit out of something. For halves refer to dream, moral, culture and discipline. Originated from Deng Xiaoping in 1980. 50 gold coins. Seeing how well-dressed the young man seemed to be, he thought that he would purchase a few stalk. He didn't expect that he would just buy a sickly one. Pursing his lips, he wraps it casually, the warmth from before absent on his face. Even a vendor judges his own customers when doing sales. The person before him isn't even willing to buy a good medicinal herb, thus making it clear to see that he is a poor bloke. Since that's the case, it would just be a waste of time to try to coax him otherwise. All right. Grabbing the herb, Xianxia reaches out to his pocket and awkwardness immediately shows on his face. Due to being too absorbed in the library, he forgot about the matter of money. As a low-level teacher, his wages are low. Furthermore, due to scoring a 0 in the teacher qualification examination, his fortunes were penalized severely. In other words, he doesn't even have 10 gold coins in his pocket. Needless to say, 50. Is there anything wrong? Sensing that something is amiss from his face, the vendor asks. Cough cough, Can you sell it to me for 8 gold coins? Xianxia counts the gold coins he retrieves from his pocket, and there are only 8 of them. 8? You must be joking. Since you didn't bring any money, why are you trying to buy anything at all? Seeing the few coins placed on the other party's palm, the vendor owner is on the verge of doing a somersault and crashing to the floor. He had met with miserly customers, but he had never met with such a miserly one. Trying to buy frigid sun grass with just 8 gold coins? You must be dreaming. Even if this stalk is sickly, it is still worth far beyond this price. Snatching back the herb, he waves his hand with an annoyed look. Scram if you don't have any money. I don't have the effort to be arguing with you over this. Cough, cough. It is true that I didn't bring sufficient money, but are you sure that you don't want to sell it to me? Seeing the attitude of the vendor, Xianxia shakes his head. Nonsense. Even if this stalk looks awful, it still contains medicinal properties. At worst, it can still be sold for 30 or 40 gold coins. Yet, you offer me 8 gold coins? What a joke. Hurry up and leave, or else I will be calling for the security enforcement team. Seeing how this fellow is reluctant to leave despite being broke, he angrily chases him away. In order to prevent people from coercing others to buy or sell goods, as well as to deter troublemakers, most large commercial cities operate a security enforcement patrol team in their perimeter. As long as one calls out for them, they would appear quickly. Even if you are a Fighter 5 Dan Dingley realm expert, you will be chased out of the commercial city instantly. Furthermore, to make a move on the security enforcement team means to make a move on the entire commercial city. Normally, no one would have the guts to stand up against them. Upon seeing how this fellow refuses to leave despite not possessing sufficient money, he is certain that he is here to cause trouble. So, he opens his mouth to call for the security enforcement team. Don't call for the security enforcement team, I'm really interested in buying it. Xianxia interrupts him. With a calm and steady look, he chuckles softly. I might not have sufficient money, but I'm not here to cause trouble. Do you believe that if I were to open my mouth, not only will you be willing to sell it to me, you would even offer to give it to me for free? Give it to you for free? Are you still in the midst of your sleep? The vendor didn't expect the poor bloke to say such words. He looks at the young man before him with an attitude as though he is looking at an idiot and sneers coldly. If I were to really give it to you for free, I'll call you Grandpa. In his opinion, this fellow must have a screw loose. Not mentioning how he doesn't bring sufficient money to purchase goods, he even thinks that he would give it to him for free. I am not insane. Why would I give it to you for free? Who do you think you are? Call me Grandpa? You don't need to do that. Xianxia shakes his head. He looks at the vendor with a bright smile and says, You will give it to me for free because I said so. If you doubt my words, I will take 2 steps. Cough, cough. Let's see what will happen after I give you a punch. Chapter 40. The master is here. The master is here. Give me a punch. The vendor doesn't know what the young man is up to. Indeed. Xianxia nods his head. You are trying to make a fool out of me. Seeing the serious look on the other person's face, the vendor's rage comes surging out and he sends a fist towards Xianxia. He had seen crazy people before, but he had never seen such a crazy person. You still want me to let you give me a punch? Why don't I beat you up to death instead? Putting all of his strength into his punch routine, the wind rustles from the force of his blow, thus exposing his level of cultivation. Fighter 3 Dan Xianxia Realm Primary Stage. Not bad. Smiling faintly, Xianxia moves his body slightly to dodge the attack. He has already reached Fighter 5 Dan Dingley Realm Pinnacle. Naturally, the strength of a Fighter 3 Dan Primary Stage cannot hurt him. He assumed that the young man is here just to cause trouble, so he thought that he would just be a delinquent without cultivation. However, upon seeing him dodge his attack easily, he immediately realizes that the young man's cultivation is on a higher level than his. The vendor stops as bewilderment overwhelms him. A fellow who has at least reached the level of Fighter 3 Dan can't possibly be really trying to buy stuff with just 8 gold coins. If I'm not wrong, you are from Xia. The moment the vendor made a move, a book on him is compiled in the library of Heaven's Path. Getting what he had intended for, Xianxia smiles faintly. How? How did you know? The vendor is taken aback. Xiapingyi is one of the provincial cities around Xianxia Royal City. It isn't a large city, and there are at least 80 of such cities around the capital. The vendor is puzzled by how Xianxia could pinpoint it out accurately. He couldn't resist looking down to study his appearance, but there doesn't seem to be any defining traits on him that would reveal his place of origin. It doesn't matter how I know it. Xianxia activates this acting cool mode. He looks at the other party once again in a calm and dignified demeanor. Half a year ago, you probably met with danger in Xianxia Forest and was bitten by a cold bamboo snake. Although you managed to escape with your life, your kidneys were damaged. If I'm not wrong, when you are doing that, it is difficult for you to showcase your masculinity. You. The vendor staggers backward. His eyes are widened so large that they are on the verge of falling to the floor. It is true that he was bitten by a cold bamboo snake in Xianxia Forest half a year ago. After which, the latter half of Zhongxian's words are true as well. However, other than him and the lady from the brothel, he had never talked about it with another person. How did this young man know about it? Could it be that he is a seer? Someone who is capable of divining the future? The vendor is still filled with disbelief. Why? Are my words wrong? Seeing the expression on the other party's face, Zhongxian knew that what was written in the Library of Heaven's Path isn't wrong. Thus, he expresses a look of pity and says, "If you find what I have said inaccurate, I can do without the medicinal herb and leave right now. However, your only chance at treating your problem will disappear as well. Sigh, you won't be able to be a man from now onward. Don't blame me for not reminding you now." Gongzi, don't go. Gongzi GT gentleman hearing that the other party is capable of treating him, the vendor's body trembles in agitation as he hurriedly takes a step forward. Can you really treat me? To a man, nothing is more pathetic than losing one's potency. These days, he dares not respond to the invitations of his friends, afraid that his problem would be exposed in front of them. Suffering silently, he had looked for many different physicians, but they all came to the same conclusion, that his symptoms are hard to treat and the only solution is amputation. He dares not believe that a casual buyer would point out his problem directly and even claim that he is capable of treating it. I won't force you to believe me. However, since I am able to tell what is wrong with you, naturally, I have my own ways to treat it as well. Zhongxian declares. Gongzi, I plead you to help treat me. As long as you can treat me. Not just that single stalk of frigid sun grass. You can take all of my herbs. The vendor lunges forward in a panic, the plea in his eyes clear to see. There are too many incredible people in the world. The words of the young man are logical since he is able to see through his problem. He definitely has a way to treat it. Besides, he has no choice to grasp onto every straw of hope that he could find. After all, this concerns his future happiness. You were bitten by the cold bamboo snake. This creature inherently possesses cold attribute. When you were bitten by it, cold energy erupted into your body, causing you to lose your physical function. Furthermore, it is unable to dispel by any medicinal herb, thus even quite a few apothecaries will find themselves helpless before it. However, what is bizarre about this snake is that even though its entire body is cold, its gall is warm. As long as you find another snake, kill it and consume its gall, you are able to expel the cold energy from your body completely. Your damaged kidney would gradually recover and you would be able to showcase your masculinity as a man once more. Zhongxian says. There are many antidotes to the poison of the cold bamboo snake, but the best antidote of all lies on its body. Its gall is the crux to counteracting its unique cold energy. This is written on one of the manuals in Hongqian Compendium Pavilion. Upon the thought of cold bamboo snakes, this information pops up into his mind. This is also precisely the reason why he only mentioned the gallbladder of the cold bamboo snake. Otherwise, with the Library of Heaven's Path capability of displaying innumerable flaws, there is a multitude of remedies he could provide him. He need not specifically choose this one. Eating the snake gall of a cold bamboo snake? The vendor is still in a state of disbelief. So simple? If this is true, why did none of the many physicians he had visited say so? There should be cold bamboo snakes on sale in this commercial city. If you doubt my words, you can buy one of them and try it right now. I will only leave after we verify it. Xianxia says. Medicinal herbs aren't the only things on sale in Qianyu Commercial City. There are also all kinds of treasures, savage beasts and animals. Cold bamboo snake is one of the lower-tier savage beasts. Although it contains lethal poison within it, it can be used in concocting medicines, so there are people selling it here. Fine. Wait for a moment. After hesitating for a moment, the vendor turns around and leaves. A short moment later, he returns with a cage and a cold bamboo snake is coiling around in it. As a Xianxia realm fighter, as long as he is prepared, killing a cold bamboo snake isn't a difficult task. It didn't take long for the snake gall to be extracted. Without any hesitation, the vendor swallows it directly. UN. Soon, the vendor's eyes light up. The vendor seems to have already gotten an answer to whether the remedy works or not. I thank Gongzi for your help. These frigid sun grass are all yours. With his eyes glowing with excitement, the vendor nearly kneels down in gratitude from the joy surging through him. This was a problem that had been plaguing him for a long time. In fact, there was even a period when he didn't want to live anymore. In order to treat this deficiency of his, he spent several years of his savings and never would he expect for it to be treated just like that. See, I didn't lie when I said that you would give them to me for free. Xianxia helps himself to the generous gifts of the vendor and grabs the box filled with frigid sun grasses. Knowledge is a type of wealth as well. It is natural for Xianxia to receive some compensation from the vendor after solving the illness that was plaguing him. Gongzi, I apologize for my inadequacy for not realizing your capabilities. I beg for your forgiveness. The vendor scratches his head in embarrassment. Just a moment ago, he was still declaring resolutely that if he were to give the frigid sun grasses to Xianxia for free, he would call him grandpa. Never would he expect for Xianxia's words to truly come to be. It's nothing. Xianxia casually waves his hand to show that it was a small matter. Just as he is about to leave, a crowd of people suddenly dashes forward, their faces red from agitation. Quick, Master Mo Yang is here. One would be able to prosper through the guidance of Master Mo Yang. This is an opportunity not to be missed. This time, as long as it is a treasure Master Mo Yang appraises for me, I will buy it no matter how much it costs. Indeed, I felt regretful after missing that opportunity by the previous time. The crowds discuss as they ran over. What is happening? Seeing how the crowds are agitated as though a star has arrived, Xianxia is puzzled. Master Mo Yang has come. Even the eyes of the vendor are glowing with excitement. Thank you for listening to PandaAudioBooks. If you love what you hear and want to support my work, check out the PayPal link in the description. Every bit helps. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notifications bell to stay updated with all our latest audiobook chapters. We'll see you in the next one.